Try to make a football and move on arrows! Bowman! Ox infects troops! Forward! Sold forward! Cavalry! Charge! Horsemen! Cap! Form a shield wall! Cavalry! Make a shield! Horsemen! Make a shield wall! And fire! Arrows! Loose formation! Form a shield! Infantry, stay close! Horsemen, dismount! Cavalry! Forward! Cavalry, shields up! Charge! Charge! On my flank! Give him hell! Cavalry! Cavalry! Forward! Infantry! Move! And move! Soldier! Forward! Up the cavalry! Cavalry, form a shield wall! Bowman, forward! March, stand apart! Forward! Move! And forward! Infantry! Assault infantry! Soldiers! Move! Loose formation! Horsemen are footmen! Forward! Shoulder to shoulder! Give them up! Soldier attack! Look out! Troops! Attack! Get some loose formation! Attack! Soldier! Move! Stand upon! Archers! Fox! Soldiers! Move! Cavalry! Soldier! Move! Stand apart! Troops! Forward! Cavalry! Form a ship! Cavalry! Face that way! With you. Bowman! Archers!
Your
Stand
order
apart!
has died down.
Hold fire! Soldiers! Troops forward! Move! Soldiers! Troop forward! Troops! Move! Archers! Look harder! Move! Soldier! Forward! Troops stand apart! Archers! Infantry! Forward! Pummel up! Soldiers! Forward! Loose formation! Infantry! Forward! Movement! Infantry! Troops! Move! So stand up on fire! Shield